Welcome to part 5 of our Travel Diary, where we're going to cover Monday, March the 16th, 2026. I keep sort of forgetting to do these days to start the trip. Start the episode for like 60 days of the trip. Yeah, with the gays you can do it at the end of the show, whereas with the non-gay days you can do it at the start of the show. Yeah. It's jet lag! It's jet lag, it's playing up with me. It's playing up with me. The jet lag is killing me, guys. It really is. Yeah, in fact, we do one more water break because we're going to need it for this part. Stay there, Bernie. Bernie's back for his file show. And then Nordy will return for the rest of part 6. Although, I mean, Nordy technically should be back for this part, because obviously it was going back to this, but I thought, no, we'll keep Bernie on, because obviously... Yeah. Okay. So, Monday, March 16th, was travel back to Minneapolis, so traveling from Denver back to Minneapolis. Now, this should have been quite smooth sailing, because obviously getting from Minneapolis to Denver worked out fine. One problem I had to it was my watch. It's a Samsung watch. Because obviously you guys know that my phone here is a Samsung. I have Samsung for my phone watch. My tablet is an iPad. Yes, they still do those. But for my phone, my watch, I use Samsung because I work best with Samsung devices. My watch wouldn't automatically change time zones when we were in Minneapolis and Denver, so it kind of got a bit stuck on different time zones. I need to really look into that when we next go out. Yeah, just bear in mind. Is it now back on English time mode? Yeah. My phone, my phone's no problem with adjusting time. My phone automatically changes time zones, but my watch didn't. I need to look into that for the next time. There we go. Yeah. So it should have been smooth sailing. Oh, it was not smooth sailing. It was not. Now here's something you might not be expecting. The New York Sirens were also at the airport the same time as us. Yeah. They weren't at the same check-in area because obviously we were flying back to Minneapolis, and of course they were heading on out to Vancouver because their next game was going to be against the Golden Knights. But as we were so once we got through our check-in, we had to head over security, and as we were heading over security, because we could see in another check-in area all the Sirens players. Obviously, we did not go and say hi. Not because there are opponents, but because we just need to get through. We just need to get through and be on the other side. Yeah. So obviously, as you guys know, it can be very stressful being in an airport. Okay, so we just need to get through security and just go. If we didn't feel stressed, we probably would have stopped by and said hi, but. Yeah, what are the chances of that, eh? What were the chances of that? That the New York Sirens players would be in the airport the exact same time as we were? Yeah, because they weren't then playing again until we were playing the Charge. Yeah, so it's like, they could have had a day in Denver or two. Yeah. Well, I don't know how it works, so. Yeah. But it was the Monday, so they probably thought, let's go to Vancouver on Tuesday because of a 4-day practice. Bad news. Not they didn't that much good because I think they did lose that game, didn't they? They dropped that game. That kind of felt weird. The Sirens players were in the airport at the exact same time that we were in the airport. That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. And it probably would have been nice to just go up and say hi and all that, but we really just need to focus on getting through security and into our gate. Yeah. Yeah. So So it's fine. Yeah. So again, like flying into Denver, it was a busy flight. Flying back into Minneapolis, flight was fine. We land back in Minneapolis, and then this is when the chaos started. Because it turns out, when we landed back into Minneapolis, turns out our baggage had not been put on our flight. How does that happen? How does that happen? That you let a passenger get on their flight, but you don't put their bags on? Alright. And yeah, it was a busy flight, but it was a busy flight heading out of Denver, and yet we still got our bags with us in Denver. Exactly, lady. Exactly. And when we found that out, Amelia was like, oh my god. Right, I could immediately, oh my god, he's going to have a breakdown. I felt it coming. It was one of those very rare times where I knew one of my mental breakdowns was going to build up. They said, no, we're going to have the waterworks come. But it didn't really come. So I think you two just took a mind off it, because you two were just basically, as we go heading out to go to an Uber, just effing and jeffing like, I don't need you to let this happen. Why did you put on the flight? We were pissed for you. We were pissed because our Frosty was in there. Our Frosty was in there. My tablet was in there. The DVD player with all the DVDs was in there. So the plug adapters were in there. Because obviously, we live in Britain. We need to take plug adapters to be able to connect our devices to your plugs. So that was a nightmare. How we survived, I do not know. But I'm supposed I'd literally, and also, guess who also was in the case? Guess who was also in the case? Bernie. Bernie was also in the case, because there was no way you were going to load my there was no way he was going to be able to fit in my backpack. Nor he did. Well, there was no way you were going to let Nordy go in the suitcase after that. No. Nordy did. Nordy was able to fit into a backpack. No way was Bernie going to fit into a backpack. So, yeah. So, also, Bernie! You also were in the case, darling. We didn't get... He was still... I know. He's still... Looking nice. Still traumatized. You went all over... I know, you went all over Central America. Because and literally every day for the rest of the trip, we had to basically phone them and ask where it was. They just let us on a merry dance. They were like, oh no, it's gone to Zooland. And we were like, where? Then, oh no, it's still in Denver. No, it's not in Chicago. No, it has arrived in Minneapolis. It's like, and I'm like, you're just leading a disabled man with mental health issues. Undiagnosed mental health issues, by the way. Undiagnosed. You're just leading a disabled man with undiagnosed mental health issues around the merry-go-round, and that's not wrong. No. And I was literally getting panicking because my Frost jersey was in that case. It was in the case. So actually, I've got it here. I'll show you which jersey it was. I've got it here. And you've only got a home and road jersey, George. Yep. It was our home one. So here. Now that was the jersey I packed for all 3 games. As per said, I've only got 2 Frost jerseys. I've got the home one and the road one. Yeah. Here's a reason why I need to get some more such jerseys made. Yeah. And I was literally panicking because you see that? He just pops up. Yeah, okay. Sorry. was literally panicking because obviously I can't go to the last Frost game without a jersey. No, I can't. No, I can't. I can't do that. Okay, I can't attend a hockey game without a jersey on. I can't. And I was literally panicking because because I wasn't confident we were going to get the case back in time. I was not confident. And I knew that there's no point trying to get down to the team store and find one because they're not going to have my size. I knew it was a pointless waste of exercise, but it was panic. It was like proper panic because I wasn't going to be able to get that Frost jersey back in time, and we're going to talk about in parts 6 and 7. We might talk more on part 7. Yeah, we made 2 trips to the hockey lodge. One was to get Nordy, and the other was to then get this. It was quite difficult trying to bag a Wild jersey, but we'll talk about that in part 7. So I was like literally in panic mode because I didn't give a fuck about my entertainment systems. All I cared about was my Frost gear and poor old Bernie. Because obviously Bernie was not cheap. So okay, that was my little souvenir. That was my only Bernie was my only souvenir from Denver. Because as I talked about on the last part, Denver did not do good in much terms of taking tour merchandise. There was many airline stuff. So this is the only thing I got from Denver. It was just like, and on the inside, I was absolutely furious. Because how do you let a passenger get on a flight, but you don't then put their bags on? This is why we should not be trusting technology to do stuff a human can do. Gone are the days where you go up to a desk, there's a person sitting there, they put the tags on, put your bags through, job, check your passports, job done. Gone are those days. Bring them back! These days, you have to go up to a fucking machine, you've got to put a tag on yourself. Accident waiting to happen! Accident waiting to happen. So I was absolutely furious on the inside. How I did not show it on the outside, only God knows. Only God knows, because oh my God, was I furious! Okay, I mean, like, just how do you do that? How do you let that happen? How incompetent at an airport do you have to be to not put somebody, like, deliberately not put someone's bags on as they are getting on the flight? How does that happen? Answer a postcard, please. How does that happen? United Airlines will not be getting a recognition from us, thank you very much. Yeah. Well, on the next time, I am not putting my Frost jersey in the suitcase. No, not doing it. I'm not doing it. No. For next time, I will be wearing my Frost jersey on me, so it'll be in my carry-on, so I know it's there with me for all the games. Yeah, because you didn't really need a jumper. No, we did take the jumper, but I just felt too warm with that on. It felt too warm, so we didn't actually really. Plus, I don't like jumpers. I very rarely wear jumpers. No. I did wear it this past winter, because obviously the UK we do get very strong weather. When it comes to the summer and winter months. In the summer months we get very strong heat. And the winter months we get very strong cold. So I did have my jumper on this past winter. But I don't normally wear jumpers. I don't like jumpers. I think they're too bulky, too warm. Yeah. But I think you just wear jerseys around the house. So just do that this winter, George. Yeah, probably will. Just wear a dry jersey, hockey jersey. You wear it pride. Yeah, wear it pride. Yeah, might do that instead. Yeah. Yeah, but going forward, I'll be putting my Frost jersey on to wear in the airport, and then that way, it's guaranteed, it's in my persons with me, it's in my personal belongings, in my carry-on, all sorted. Yeah, because that was just like panic. I have to say, I think United Airlines are so lucky that you have a connection to Northern. No, because if you had decided to adopt the Wild at the end of last year, then we would have a problem. Because you would have had to abort that, and you would have to have worn it to the last game, which did happen, but you wouldn't have a connection with it because that's not your AHL team, shockingly. But the fact that you adopted the Wild at the end of last year, the fact that you were able to adopt, because I never in a million did I think you would adopt a second team, George. Neither did I, boy. Neither did I. But I just kind of felt that, okay, at the end of last season, we kind of felt we were getting ready to start planning to get out there. What happens if we were there and there was a Wild game going on? Would I then want to go down that game? Instead, would I then want to turn the Wild on? So it just kind of made sense to me, at the end of last season, to basically just go, you know what? I'm going to adopt the Wild as a second NHL team. May as well. There's no harm in it. I've always been quite right. Before the PHL, I've never had a problem with the Minnesota Wild. No, I've never really had like a problem with the Minnesota Wild. They've always been one of those teams where I'm like, they're alright. So the fact that obviously having now been involved with a Minnesota hockey team for 3 years, it kind of makes sense that I probably should also adopt the NHL team there. And then if we do find ourselves in a position where we have the opportunity to attend a Wild game during our next cross trip, then fine. As long as it's not Sharky. Or the Kings. Because I think if it was the Kings with Wild game, you two would be terrors. And I would have to go, yeah, you would have to basically apologise on our behalf. Yeah. But everyone else, fair game. Yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, so we'll see. So I am now kitted, ready for if we do have the opportunity to go to a Wild game in person. Fine. But I think, as I said, United Airlines, they are very lucky that I actually do have an affiliation with the Wild. So it meant that I could basically, when we went to the Hockey Lodge, I could basically buy this, knowing that I will wear it frequently. Yeah. You also did try to find some Wild t-shirts, but you didn't strike lucky there, but did try. Yeah, but you're very lucky, United Airlines, I actually do have an affiliation to the Minnesota Wild, which meant I could buy this and wear it with no problem. Because unfortunately, that is what did have to happen. Yeah. Because unfortunately, the case did not arrive in time for the final game, which meant that we had to then go back to the Hockey Lodge and get the Wild jersey. We're going to talk more about that on the next part, because part 6 is where we're going to bring Nordy back up and we're going to talk about our Leslie Day in Minneapolis, which involved the first trip to the Hockey Lodge, and then obviously on part 7 we'll talk about the second trip to the Hockey Lodge. Yeah, because obviously on the first trip we went to the Hockey Lodge wasn't much frost stuff there, and then obviously we went back the next day, there was frost stuff there because obviously it was a game day for the frost. Yep. No, but honestly, I can't describe to you guys how absolutely furious I was that our luggage had basically not been put on the flight. How's that happen? How? Like, seriously, how does that happen, guys? I mean, come on. Come on. Just... Anyway, yeah. So it then became a real traumatic for the rest of the leg 3, because it basically meant that we had no case. We also had no toothbrush or toothpaste. Or deodorant! No deodorant! No deodorant! We had no deodorant, we had no toothbrush, no toothpaste. I don't know what my breath was like for leg 3, but it was like, just... Blah! It was just... Bloody hell! How did that happen? It was all going swimmingly fine. you know, and then that happens. But yeah. So it was not pretty. It was not pleasant. Basically just got back to the hotel, then spent the rest of the day in the hotel. Try not to want to then beat the 7 crap out of the furniture. Yeah, so dreadful. I'm quite amazed that your power bank had enough charge to get us through. Well, I'm taking a second one. Did I? Hold on, let's ask one question. Have I got a spare power bank? I'm not too sure. Because I don't know. Because it did manage. The power bank did manage throughout the whole stay. But I'm just thinking, have I got a spare one anywhere? Because what we can maybe do next time is if we can take 2 power banks. Because there is enough room with the one I got to put all my electronics in. There is enough room to do that. Yeah. Because obviously I didn't put the phone in because obviously I had that free hand. Yeah. So have a look. Okay, right. All I'll do is I'll have a look this week if I've got if I have got a spare power bank. If not, I'll get one ordered. And then on the next trip we can take both power banks. And if one runs out, we've got another one spare on hand. Okay, I'll remember that. But yeah. So it was a bit of a route, but Bernie wasn't around. You didn't get to see any Minneapolis, Bernie. Poor thing. And you did have to, you probably were thinking, hang on, is it because of Bernie? Because obviously Bernie was quite big. He would have taken a lot of the case, but it was just a case of no, it didn't even get put on. Didn't get put on. It did not get put on. We did not get our case. We did get it back eventually. Yeah, because obviously, we'll talk about on the final part. So that's gonna be part 8. On the day we were flying back home, we were reunited with our case. So it's like, phew. Because obviously when we lost the case, I did worry. Oh my god, am I gonna have to get back home buy another Frost jersey? Yeah. I mean, am I going to have to do that? Because I don't know we were going to get the case back. Yeah. I was not, because there was no confidence we were definitely going to get it back before we were flying back out to the UK. Yeah. That literally crossed my mind. Am I going to have to buy another Frost jersey? Yeah. Like, yeah. So, no. But thankfully, we were reunited with the case. Just unfortunately, we got reunited with it a day late. We got reunited with it the day we were flying back, and not before, when we really, really needed it. No. It was all fine. Obviously, I bought this jersey. We're in the hockey lodge. It was all fine, but I can't wait to be there in my Frost gear, you know? Yeah. You know, I can't wait to be there in my Frost gear. Yeah, because obviously I'm so proud to be a Minnesota Frost, a day one PHL Minnesota fan. So, I mean, obviously I had to make do with it on, but it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Anyway, yeah. As you guys know, I have adopted the Wild as my second AHL team. I have 2 AHL teams now. I have the Sharks, which I've been involved with since I was 12 years old, and of course I've now got the Minnesota Wild. At the end of last season, I officially made the call to adopt the Wild as my second team. So this has been my first full season with affiliation to the Wild. It's been a lot to get used to. I am still trying to find a way how to work this dual affiliation. I'll get there eventually. We Caterpillar's got both Sharks and Wild on his boat. Yes, we have. I'll just confirm that for you boys and girls. Yes. There we go. Yep, so they're both there. next to each other. You probably won't be able to see that clear, but yeah, got both the sharks and the wild apps there next to each other, so that is all good. So got the location switch on as well, so that is all good there. Yes, you can see they're both next to one another. There you go. Yeah. So I'm learning the ropes with this dual affiliation. Give me a couple more years, and I will definitely get the hang of it. But as these two said, United Airlines are very, 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 very lucky that I have an affiliation with the AHL team in Minneapolis. You're very lucky. Oh my! Oh my! Also, United Airlines, if you do think about sending out surveys, maybe don't send us one. Unless you want a bunch of F-bombs thrown your way. Yeah, well put, lady. Well put. Well put. Yeah, that was not my favourite day. That was not my favourite day. Also, didn't we get the cities for the World Cup? Yes, we did. We did. It was also confirmed the cities for where the AHL's World Cup of Hockey, which will be taking place in 2028. Those cities got announced. It's Prague, Calgary, and Edmonton. And with Calgary, we've learned that Calgary's getting a new arena soon. So these are now thinking, oh, sorry Edmonton, we might not be beat, it should be Calgary. Well, in Edmonton, I don't know if they would happily house a PHR team as well as an NHL team. Whereas Calgary might. So Calgary could now be thrown back into the expansion conversation. We'll see. But no, that was not my favourite day. Was not my favourite day. So if you two got anything else you want to say? No. No. Right. Okay, we'll leave it there. Well, it's goodbye from Bernie. Bye, Bernie. I think you still got a tag here, Bernie. Has he? You're on his paw here. Oh, yeah. There's nice that. Bernie's still got one of those tags on. We'll get that sorted, Bernie. Don't you worry, we'll get that sorted. I was wondering, why is this paw thing a bit destroying him in my hand? Because there's still a little tag there on it. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, it is goodbye from Bernie. Because for the remainder of the Child Diary, we're going to be back in Minneapolis. Which means we're going to be reunited with Nordy! Yay! Love you, Nordy. So on the next part, that'll be part 6. Yeah, part 6. On the next part, which is part 6, we're gonna recount our sort of free day. Because as you know, we did have a free day in the trip in Minneapolis, but of course, thanks to the suitcase drama, it just, it didn't go down that way. We didn't mention about how you found the team store, George. I'll talk about it in the next part. Okay, I'll talk about it in the next part. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's going to be what part, so that's what we got coming in part 6. We're going to talk about our sort of, what ended up being like a chill day in Minneapolis. We'll also talk about our first visit to the hockey lodge. I'll also tell you how I found where it was. And we're also going to recount our lovely meal in the evening. Your mind got blown by this. Your mind was blown. So this is going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Yeah, that's going to be this part. So until next time, guys, take care.